Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody so much for their continuous support with all my videos. You guys leave such great comments, you guys leave such incredible feedback. We've hit over 1 million views and over 12,000 subscribers, and I cannot be happier. I'm so happy. I never ever expected this community to grow so much. Number two, after a very long time, I finally checked all my emails that I have received from you guys. Unfortunately, I have removed my email address from my channel for a very valid reason. I was left with over 1,500 emails asking me questions about immigration. You guys have asked me such personal questions about your situation, your jobs, and your families, but I am not in a professional situation to or position to answer those questions. Unfortunately, all the information that I provide you guys with is purely from experience and research that I underwent to live in Australia, to stay there longer, etc., etc. And a lot of it was also when I worked at university. When I was in university, which was many, many years ago. So some of my information might be mildly outdated, but again, I really do want to help you guys out, but I just want to let you guys know that I will not be answering emails regarding asking me to call you guys on your personal numbers, have Skype conversations with you, or FaceTime with you. Unfortunately, that is not something that I do or will be doing. So as much as I appreciate you guys having the confidence in me to ask me these sort of questions, I'm not in a professional situation to answer them. So I will sort of try and answer a lot of those questions over the next couple of videos. I have been going through those emails for the last few hours. I made it through both breakfast and lunch. And I've made very segregated points about the questions you guys are asking me, and I'm going to try and group those questions together and make a few videos about student life in Canada, student life in Australia, and how work works in Canada and sponsorship. I had a few questions about jobs in the US. Now, I have never worked in the US. I only was in the States over the summer for some schooling. Like I went for university programs there, and I did some credits in California, Minnesota, and Rhode Island. But I don't actually have any sort of like work experience there other than just being there for sort of like temporary studies for the semester. So I can't answer any questions about the States, but I just kind of wanted to quickly explain that to you guys. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about really quickly was some of the things that you need to be careful about when it comes to immigration. I was a part of 2 scams when I was living in Australia, and I think one was more scamish than the other, but they were both extremely frustrating. They financially set me back thousands and thousands of dollars, and ultimately they led to me being told that I had to leave Australia. So the first thing that happened to me was I registered with this small private college which was based in North Sydney. I don't remember the name of it, but I can look it up. And what had happened was they had told me that because I was a Canadian citizen, that my fee would be actually as cheap as a local student, because they knew that, you know, I was, I don't know, Canadian, I guess. I'm not sure. Like, they kind of really sold me on the whole idea of it. And I paid for the university fee or the college fee. And then I left for 2 weeks on vacation. When I came back, I actually got held at the airport overnight. And initially the immigration officer told me that I would be sent back to Canada on the plane, and they would ship my stuff to me. Although, to be fair, initially he was like, we're going to send you back to where you came from. And it was kind of disrespectful. But The second immigration officer, who came in a couple hours later, I showed him all the paperwork that I had, my student visa, my registration documents. Unfortunately, he said none of them were actually legitimate. And we started talking, and I told him I was a power lifter and I worked in the gym, etc., etc. And he was so nice and kind of sat with me and explained to me what had actually happened, and that this was not the first time that someone had walked through with registration to that college, and that college was being shut down as we spoke at the time. So I got 30 days within which I had to go back to my home in Sydney, pack up, and leave the country unless I could get registered with another college or institution or sponsored by a company. So fortunately, I was able to figure that out, and I lost about $7,500 that I never saw again. I did report them to the appropriate institution and the state, but nothing came of it. And I think a lot of battles are harder to fight when you are not a citizen of the country in which you are fighting that battle. And I've really come to respect being in Canada for that, and I think maybe Canada within itself is a lot more accommodating to people who are in trouble. So the second thing that happened to me was in my final year in Australia, I got picked up by a fitness company, and they wanted me to be the club manager, which was a great role at the time. They wanted me to do the pre-sales, which means sell all the membership when the club opens up, hire the staff, etc., etc., under the false pretense that they would sponsor me once the club opened up. And I quit my job at the time, which was a great job. I was a trainer, and I took upon this role. Now, they kept saying that they had to deduct a certain percentage of my salary so they could pay for the lawyer fee for the immigration, that was normal. About 4 days before Christmas, they called me into a coffee shop, and very, very sort of unofficially, they told me that they wouldn't be sponsoring me, and they were letting me go because they didn't want to pay the lawyer cost. The only way that they would have kept me is if I covered the lawyer and immigration fee, which a company is not supposed to say to you. So they were actually paying me cash. They never actually gave me a proper pay stub, and I always thought that was shady, but they said it was because the club was setting up and all these sort of things were happening, and then they started putting me in the payroll, but I wasn't seeing enough money. This was Snap Fitness in Sydney, and I'm not trying to single them out or anything like that, but I did even get in touch with head office in the States, and I informed them about what was going on, and they never even got back to me. And then I posted the same thing on their Facebook page and let them know what was going on. Again, I wasn't doing it in an angry fashion, but within a couple hours, everything that I posted about what was happening was getting removed. So that was really, really horrible. And after this happened, I got in touch with immigration again, and then I was told I had 3 months to leave the country. Now, something I want to tell you guys is that Australia is such a beautiful country, and it has so much such a great lifestyle to offer. It's such a alluring lifestyle where there's the beach and sun and sands, and the people are really, really great. But I had hit a point where I had to really think about what it is that I was gaining by going through all this immigration hassle in Australia, and what I was essentially losing out on by being in Canada, the country that I am from and the country that I'm proud to be from. So I chose to come back instead of getting involved in another job or going through a college or an immigration process that I didn't necessarily want. So my perspective of Canada is obviously very different to Australia because my experience in Canada is much more as a citizen, and my experience in Australia is much more as a international resident, I guess. I'm not sure what the technical term would be. So I think that's something that's really important to bear in mind, and it was something I wanted to share with you guys. There were other little tidbits of things that happened in my life in Australia that really shook things up for me, and they were a reality check. And but I'm not trying to bias anybody's opinion. This is just what happened with me, and I wanted to let you guys know. And I did have a few emails about people getting scammed with immigration. So I know it's very tempting to move into a country, and there's a lot of money invested in immigration and tourism that boosts the economy. So some of you guys have sent me your resumes and talked to me about your jobs, and you guys seem so qualified. That don't forget that, you know, there's a great lifestyle or life for you in any part of the world. Don't be so caught up in going somewhere because the life seems so appealing. You can create a great life for yourself almost anywhere. I know there's a lot of countries in the world that are ridden with a lot of serious situations and war, and you know, the economy is not that great. So I understand that there are some people who need to leave their countries because of the situation. But if you're in a place where you can create a great life for yourself, don't necessarily think you need to leave that because another country seems appealing. But again, I really think that traveling is great. So I am a huge paradox, and I contradict myself all the time. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. The last parting thought or words that I wanted to say was, I've noticed that some of you guys, and it's very few of you guys, who are extremely aggressive with your comments and your feedback because you extremely are at the opposing end and you disagree with something I posted and therefore it is the end of the world. You guys need to really calm down because you guys are creating a lot of hostility and negativity on my channel. I don't want that in my life, in my channel, or anything that has to do with me. So if you are a genuine asshole, and I'm so sorry for saying this, but you gotta go. So I don't need any of that, and you don't need to give me compliments all the time. If you disagree with something, if you can't say it like a civilized human being, I mean, you gotta find something better to do, my friend. Like, you just have way too much free time on your hand, and keyboard warriors like you need better things to do in your life. But thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Try and promote more strength and more positivity in the world. There's enough negativity as it is, and be good to one another. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.